Welcome back to the Kyle Style Podcast. This is episode 84 or 85. For the first time, some of you can see me. I mean, if you're hearing me, just listening, obviously. You're not seeing me, but I'm now going to be trying to produce video because a friend of mine did say, "We want to see you." I'm like, well, I don't know why, but okay. So I'm not just bringing you my mug, I'm bringing you some visual aids as well. So, Kyle Style Podcast. First vlog, video cast, vidcast, whatever you want to call this. Call it a mind cast, all right? Because I'm just going to be just throwing stuff at you. Anyways, I got something that I wanted to do quick, kind of guerrilla style, and we're going to try out some new stuff. You can see I've got frame and frame going on, so I'm going to show you some images of some things that happened in the last few hours, really, that just has grown legs already, and I have a feeling this is gonna have some momentum behind it. So, something that you might uh, something that might happen, say, when you live in a representative republic like we do here in the United States. Happy not being British Day, by the way. Something that might happen is that you elect an official to public office who may be unsavory, maybe not the most loved. Okay, it's just going to happen. Now, it doesn't mean that they're a bad person per se, and just because they're a bad person doesn't necessarily mean that they're not going to execute their office well. But you have this weird situation that we had with Trump winning and all this other stuff. Okay, so Donald Trump is our president, and it may just be that this person that's elected into office is a celebrity in their own right. And maybe they did guest spots on what could be called a professional wrestling network, in this case, the WWE. And it may just be that there are people on the internet who have a broad sense of humor and they find this footage. This footage makes its way out, and people who like to make internet memes, that is just short little animated GIF jokes or just single image jokes, they will maybe depict an opponent of this president getting body slammed because that president really did body slam someone on a professional wrestling network. Okay? And then it might be that this opponent of the president is a major news network, such as the Clinton News Network. I mean, CNN. CNN. So a clip or a GIF may be made. Yes, I say GIF. If you say GIF, then you need a helicopter ride. Okay. How do I do that? Now, it might look something like this. Somebody manages to motion track and put a CNN logo on. I think it's Vince McMahon, maybe. I'm not sure who it originally was. But this meme then gets picked up by the President of the United States himself and retweeted. Now, CNN, in all of its idiotic majesty, it makes a news story out of the fact that the president tweeted a joke animated GIF, like a joke GIF, saying, haha, I took down CNN. But it doesn't stop there. You now have an evolving situation where this GIF originally apparently came from Reddit. Now, CNN was investigating this for some reason, I'm not quite sure why, and they identified the creator or the first uploader of the GIF to Reddit. He goes by the name Han Asshole Solo. Han Solo. Asshole. Han Solo. Right. Han Asshole Solo posted his apology before we ever spoke to him. He called us afterwards to apologize further. Now, an official statement was released by CNN. I should have the image, but I don't. I already read it. You can find it. You can read it. Where they essentially said he agrees to not post more stuff like that and that he apologizes. Now, this came after CNN had told him, apparently, that they knew his name. So they basically doxed him. So they found his real world name and real world information, and essentially were threatening to release it. Now, apparently, this is a minor. Uh, yeah, so that's tricky. Apparently, on his account on Reddit, he had also said other off-color things, possibly some racial slurs here and there. Now, this I'm not sure it's Kathy Young. I think she's kind of journalist. Responded before you spoke to him or before you reached out to him, because they reached out and contacted him and then they actually spoke on the phone. Okay, so there's like two things. So Andrew Kaczynski, the CNN producer, I believe, he says, after I emailed asking only to speak with him. So Kathy Young says, so it seems reasonable to say that his apology was prompted by fear of exposure. So he was contacted. They said, we know who you are, and, blam. And then he apologized, like over the phone, I suppose, and then seems a bit coerced. Okay? Now, here's where stuff starts to go off the rails. So CNN is owned by Time Warner, and apparently was able to get the kid's Reddit, get his IP address from his Reddit name with the help of the mods of that subreddit. Now, they then extorted him to apologize, or they would reveal his identity to the public. So, as this little snippet here points out, this is kind of a big deal. You have CNN kind of trying to protect its reputation, able to unmask otherwise anonymous users online, and then coerce them into at least a public apology, if not ultimate humiliation by releasing their personal information. And there are already, has been demonstrated, there are unhinged lunatics of various kinds who have kind of come out of the woodwork in the aftermath of this election. So it stands to reason that this person could face real world threats, intimidation, and hardship as a result of being doxxed by a worldwide news agency. So if the ISP, the internet service provider, can connect different pieces of information, then even a VPN, virtual private network, will not protect you, not necessarily protect your identity. So let's keep going here. Post this apology. So here's where we are. Essentially, another memetic war has been declared, calling all cars, essentially calling all memesters to begin making whatever you think is the most offensive thing, and targeting CNN. Now, this is arguably part of the reason why Donald Trump won the presidency in the first place. And I know it sounds insane, not just this particularly offensive image, but comparing CNN to ISIS with memes, images. Pepe the Frog, you go back and listen to my Nazi Frogs and Thomas Nast episode. I lay it out how there's just this contrarian core to a lot of the internet culture, and Pepe the Frog is an embodiment of that. And Pepe and the memeing and the counterculture and the contrarianism all played a role in trying in helping in swaying public opinion, at least in various spheres of the internet. And I believe, as others do, that memetic warfare of 2016 was influential in the election itself. Now, take that as you will, but there are other things that are at play here. So, this is just gross. Okay. 15-year-old, at least this person was saying that's a 15-year-old. I heard that it was a minor, but so in the course of a couple days, I think the July 2nd Trump tweeted out the GIF, the original GIF. Uh, Within a few days, CNN had tracked down the 15-year-old memester and unmasked him. And yet it's you know been what, 9 months, almost a year, I think, since the first allegations of Russian meddling, etc., in our election, and yet they haven't actually been able to find anything legitimate. No smoking gun, no one willing to that would be willing to testify before Congress as to what they saw. No Russian agent who wants to switch sides. Nothing. And you would know that, of course, because the situation didn't really change since I think last December I did my episode on the Russian hacking story. It's not even a story, but I called it From Russia with Love because I'm real creative and original. And they're just the Russian narrative is finally falling apart. But this is a good example. Their priorities are such that they keep putting out Russia narrative, the Russian hacking narrative, which could have possibly cost those congressmen their life at the baseball game just a couple weeks ago. But then they have no problem essentially coercing the 15-year-old. I mean, I believe that they coerced the 15-year-old, this Redditor. I believe that they were trying to do that. And it was because Trump's tweet made them look bad. Well, this makes them look worse. And these are already coming out. The meme war began hours ago, and there's already been a flood. They asked him to make another statement that that he wasn't threatened, but even if that's true and it really is a cooperative thing and there was no implied threat, there's already blood in the water now. I feel as though the ball has already started rolling on this one, and we're not just gonna see it's not just going to be funny pictures. And I don't mean that there will be violence directed at CNN or journalists or anything, but you do already have people pulling up lists of CNN's sponsors and advertisers. You have people identifying the producers who are working on this story that originally unmasked this young man. And there's going to be a lot of memes. Some of them will be funny. Some of them will be shit posts. But there will be I think there's going to be a wave of cybercrime that targets CNN, all the people that worked on this story and who are known, essentially. And I have a feeling it's going to affect their network. And I mean, fake news reports coming in, stuff like that. I mean, bomb threats getting called in. I mean, might be giving them ideas at this point, but you're talking about DDoS attacks, denial of service. So they're going to bombard their webpage with bot traffic that makes it inaccessible to the public. All these kinds of things. I don't necessarily know how to do a lot of these technical things, but just every minor nuisance, just people just spamming malware at them and all that kind of stuff, it's just going to happen. And CNN really screwed the pooch on this one. That's the thing, is I'm not sure why they were trying to identify this person. Like, why were you... It came from the bowels of the internet. You and Donald Trump are having a spat. You're having a little tizzy. I don't know why they would want to find the person who made the GIF. How it's not even relevant. Everybody knows that you aren't getting along with Donald Trump. Well, now you've screwed the pooch. And no mercy on you, honestly. I don't know what you expect. You expect people to just roll over and take that? that anybody puts out a meme image, a mean meme of you on the internet, and you're gonna try to go after them and get their private information? What if that kid hadn't been a minor? That's probably the only thing that stopped you. You probably would have just outed him. That's what I think. I think you're having maybe some ratings issues, especially with your Russia narrative collapsing. You definitely don't like Trump. You don't like any of the Trump supporters. So you decided to circumvent the otherwise anonymity of the internet. Good work, CNN. You're about to reap the whirlwind. It's coming. So anyways, Kyle Style Podcast, first video cast. Head over to redbubble.com/people/Kyle Style Design. Check out some of my original artwork on mugs and shirts and prints and all that fun stuff. And I get a portion of the proceeds. You get some beautiful original artwork in your life, and we keep this ball rolling here. Or you head over to the GoFundMe page, throw me a couple of dollars. I'll include all the links and such with the video. Put together the blog post. I'll have a little bit of a write-up, some of these images on there, and all the relevant links and everything else. It's exciting times. This Trump train, Trump's America just keeps going, and everything is just out of control, and it just keeps going. It's endlessly fascinating. This is what democracy looks like, ladies and gentlemen. So 4th of July over. Kyle Style out.